Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to my mom. Happy birthday to you. All right, welcome back to this video. As you can see, we're doing this video in tribute to my mom. So a lot of the discussion here is going to be directed towards my mom. And I want to welcome all of you who are joining us. And if you want, go ahead, continue watching this video with us. Enjoy it. You'll learn some things about your host, which is me, of course, Patrick. So you can continue watching us and subscribe to the channel. We do a lot of fun things over here. A lot of reactions, a lot of vlogs, a lot of just whatever. We do a lot of things. Even you can suggest different things that you would like for us to do. Now, you may be wondering, what's all of this? But it's probably in the thumbnail or in the description somewhere. But let me go ahead and let you know right now. This is meatloaf, a southern meatloaf. This is actually some mac and cheese over here that actually I made from some packets of Lucky Me baked mac. They're not giving us a commercial. They're not paying us yet. But I really love their mac and cheese, so I decided to go with that instead of making my own from scratch. And cornbread and cabbage. I used a pork broth in this and some what we call in the Philippines sili, which is like basically like spicy peppers because I like a little spiciness. And the reason why I made this is actually because anybody who really knows me, if they ever ask me what is my favorite meal of all time, and I would tell them meatloaf, cabbage, cornbread, and mac and cheese made by my mom. It has to be made by my mom. That's the ultimate favorite. And I decided for the first time ever in my whole life to actually attempt to make this since my mom isn't here. For those of you who don't know, I am from Houston, Texas. But I've been here in the Philippines for about a decade now, actually. Really loving it here as well. So, listen, I'm going to come right back. We're going to kind of clear some of this stuff off the table because, as you can see, I don't have room for a plate. And I'm not just about to start just digging and all of that. So, we're going to cut for a quick second. We're going to come back. I'm going to have my plate, and we're going to discuss a few things that I would like to discuss about my mom. All right, see ya. And we're back. As you can see, I already made me a plate. You guys, I've been working on this meal for a few hours, so forgive me. I want to know what this tastes like right now. I feel like I could have left my meat up in there a little bit longer, but I think the difference was that we used lean beef, and from what I realized after I was already cooking it, is that it would have been better if I would have just used a different beef because the lean beef can have a few different issues when baking. But this tastes good though. We're gonna talk. We're gonna talk. I want to talk about, like I said, my mom. I want to talk about, you know, how, basically, you know, like how with family, you argue, you disagree, you regret certain things or whatever it may be. And it can be almost to the point where it seems like maybe people can complain a lot and you can miss sight of what were the good things, what things were done right. Mm-hmm. Come on, Cabbage. And as you see, I brought this bowl right back because I like my cabbage with when she makes it with. Well, actually, she would make it with like a ham hock or some kind of big piece of pig or something in there. Which honestly, I never really cared too much for the big piece of pig in my cabbage, but I love the flavor that it gave. I know that probably seems weird, but that was me. So in this one, the recipe that my cousin Trisha gave me actually called for chicken broth. Well, I thought we had chicken broth until I opened the cabinets and realized we only had pork and beef broth. So I thought, well, maybe that's perfect because I'm used to having like a pork flavor in it anyway. So that's what I got. Mm-hmm. And I like having it juicy like this because I like putting my cornbread in it like this. I like my cornbread like this. And then something that I forgot actually, that I remember now that my mom would do, is that she would have some vinegar and can sprinkle some vinegar on that. Man, whole new flavor. I forgot that part. One thing my mom always got right when I was growing up, she got that cooking right. She damn sure got that right. Okay. Mm-mm. How about I bring that closer? Mm. That flavor is good. It's good, y'all. It ain't like my mama's, but it's good enough to bring up some memories. Speaking of that, one thing my mom did get right, she kept me grounded. She kept me like regular. She kept me off the streets. And sometimes back then I didn't understand that. You know, of course, you know, you're growing up as a child in the early a preteen. Eventually, you know, you want to have friends, you want to go out, you want to do things, you want to stay out later, you want to stay up later. I'm just talking with my fork. You want to stay up later. All of those types of things. We didn't really get to do that. Even in the summertime, like in the summertime, maybe our bedtime was extended maybe one or maybe one extra hour on a Saturday or something like that. But everything was pretty much, you know, like routine, pretty much. And, you know, like I said, as a child, at some points it almost annoys you, you know, to feel like you're not, you know, you see your friends. For example, every Sunday was pretty much cleanup day. At least that's how it started off. Maybe we would get a good breakfast. Mama would cook a good breakfast. Pancakes, I love pancakes and all that. But then it was time to clean the house. You would have thought we was spring cleaning every week. But then you see your friends outside. Your friends are already outside, enjoying the day, playing or whatever. And you're trying to hurry up. They're trying to hurry up cleaning the house because you want to go outside too. And then sometime, for me, by the time I finish cleaning the house and doing everything I'm supposed to do, I want to stay in the house, which back then on TV they would have the movies on Sundays would start playing, and they called the Sunday matinee. And then I would just end up wanting to stay in the house and watch movies with my mom, because I would be already exhausted. I had a good breakfast. Mom is probably already working on lunch by the time we're getting done cleaning. Then she's taking a nap halfway while watching movies, and I just want to stay in the house too for a while. So yeah, One thing she got right, she kept me off the street. She kept us out of trouble. And that's what a parent's supposed to do. You know, children don't know any better. Children don't know any better, so it's definitely up to the parents to make those decisions. And another thing that went along with that she got right is she taught me to really be mindful of the people that I chose to be my friend. I don't know if any of you ever heard the saying like, if they all jump off a bridge, will you go jump off the bridge too? That kind of stuff kind of dealt with your selections of friends, peer pressure, that type of stuff. For example, new shoes. I'm a shoe lover, so I was always paying attention to shoes. So, for example, I see some kids with some new shoes out that just came out. Most likely, we were not able to afford that back then. And I didn't always understand that either. But, I want the shoes. Why you want these shoes? Everybody's wearing them. I want a pair. Everybody wearing them, huh? So if everybody was going to go jump off a bridge, would you go too? Now, I thought that was a dumb question, to be honest. As a kid, even now. Because the answer would be, of course not. I don't want to jump off a bridge. I don't care who's jumping off the bridge. But the point was, don't just follow the crowd. Don't just do what everybody else is doing. Don't just think what everyone else is thinking. Don't just want something because everyone else has it. Want what you want because you want it. And do what you want to do because that's what you want to do, not because somebody else is pressuring you to do that. So like I said, that's another thing that she definitely got right. Thank you, Trisha, for this recipe for this cabbage. As you can see, I keep eating this cabbage, but like I said, I really love it when I mix my cornbread in here. The cornbread is really good too. But yeah, that's I don't know. I just feel like those are some things that I even notice nowadays that a lot of people don't seem to be teaching their kids. And maybe it's harder. Maybe it's harder to teach children that these days. Back then there was not the internet. There was not blogs and YouTube and all kinds of things to further distract the child from whatever it is their parent was teaching them and was trying to mold them to be. So I guess maybe it's harder to some extent, at least. But I don't know. I just feel like I guess we cannot make excuses on that, because if that's the case, my mom could have made excuses because maybe it was harder during her time versus when she was a child. And then, it could go on and on. Times are always changing. So we always have to change with the times, right? Now, another thing that my mom got right with me is when she helped me to respect women, respect people, period. And not only that, but to defend what's right. And for example, when I say that, I mean, as I grew up, the more, I got older, I will realize these values that she put in me. And to the point where if I see someone, for example, being bullied or in a workplace just being mistreated or being just treated unfairly compared to what they should be treated as, I became a person that will speak up for them if I could. I will speak up for them, defending what's right. You know, another thing that I don't see a lot of people do these days is just far too easy for to sit back and be afraid of maybe the people in power or whatever the situation may be, to sit back in fear and not want to intervene. Which reminds me of one of the shows that me and my mom used to watch together called What Would You Do? And they would do a lot of scenarios where they would, for example, there's a woman in the park and maybe some man is beating on her or whatever, but of course they're just acting on this show, but they're doing it in a public place to see how many people who don't know that it's being just an act. They want to see if though how many people will actually try to intervene and how many people who will just pretend that they don't see what's happening. You know, and even though we would understand that show, they were just acting in the scenarios, it would cause a lot of emotions to come up because we become those passionate people who may have seen some situations like that where we did intervene, or we may have heard about something like that and we were not there to witness, and it angered us to why we were not, if we were there, what we could have done. And that could even be for just like news stories. You may hear a story on the news. Someone got beaten to death. Maybe you find out they live in the same neighborhood or not too far from you, or whatever it may be, just anywhere in the world. And I think that's part of that lesson is basically, she taught me to be a human and to care about other humans in that regard, So like I say, there's a lot of things that as we grow up, when we're still preteens and young kids, we don't realize what's being taught to us during those years, what's being put in us over those years, and how it's going to basically shape us to become who we are now and in the future. Which reminds me also of a series that I just got caught up on, that I found out about a week ago. It was in the UK, I believe. The series is called Up, Up series. And what it is, they started off with these kids that were age 7, and then every 7 years they went to wherever those kids were. They came to them like at age 14, age 21, age 28, and so on and so forth. Basically asking them a lot of the same questions that they always been asked since they were 7, and seeing how their mind either like evolved or a lot of it but a lot of it, I went all the way up to the latest one was released 2019, and those kids are now 63 years old in 2019. I think maybe one of them has passed away by that point. I think it was a group of 10, or I think it was 10 children. And but the thing that I noticed all the way up until age 63, though they may have done different things at different points in their lives, a lot of what was already instilled in them at the age 17 and age 7 and 14, a lot of that was still there. And maybe it represented itself, well, it presented itself in slightly different ways, but a lot of the way that they were as they became older was just like they were as a child, except for maybe the way that they thought about a certain thing as a child may have been slightly more ridiculous, or the way that it would sound, the way that they were trying to articulate it as a child could have been in a different way. But as you saw them every 7 years on the next series, I think it started off at 7 up, 14 up, every age, and then the word up. If you search that, very, very interesting series. Seeing the way that they changed. As you can see, I'm just about done with my meal. Now I'm kind of full. I'm getting kind of full, so I'm not going to eat any cake on this video. But you'll probably have, if you're following our Instagram, you should probably be able to scroll back and see videos of pictures and all of that. Closer pictures of the food and all of that. Now, Mom, I love you. I love you, Mom. I love you. And I know you always was telling me about doing more like vlogs, and you wanted to see pictures of the Philippines and, different things like that. One plan that I do have in mind, eventually, once more of this pandemic stuff kind of slows down, I found out they have a Chinatown in Manila. I'm gonna eventually try to get me a guide, someone to guide me through there, and then we can record some videos, like going through Chinatown and tasting all these different foods and things that they have there. I think that should be very interesting, that we'll post here at some point. That might end up being something that we do around the beginning of next year, because we're already toward the end of this year. It's going so fast, and there's already a lot of other video ideas that we want to do, and then celebrate Christmas and all of that too. So that's one thing. And this was really good. And I just want to end this with this one thought. This is my last thought, because it was something that's been on my mind. Have you ever heard of those people who, when someone passes away, they have their regrets? I regret saying this to her. I regret that I did not say this to her. It's usually a lot of things that you wish that you could have said. For example, when I lost my grandfather some years back, I still wish that there were some things that I wish I could have said. There's a lot of times that I wish he was there, so that I can have certain discussions with him. And then this year, during all of this Rona madness, losing my little brother, I'm still very bothered by that. And however, I don't have too many things that I would regret that I didn't say to him, because we did chat quite often, which I love that I have that in my memories and everything. But yes, there are still sometimes that I think about something because we love to laugh. We love to just talk crap about different things, and just you know stuff. Just a lot of things. And so sometimes I might think of something just seems so simple to anyone else, but it can, it's like I hear my brother in my head, something that he would have said about it or whatever, and sometimes it makes me laugh, sometimes it makes me want to cry, you know. But this the thing I want to leave everyone with, like, just don't allow yourself to be that person that you regret not saying something to someone that you love and care about while they're still here. Because as 2020 has should have taught any of us who are still here among the living that we don't know when life will be over, right? So definitely take advantage of all that. I'm gonna end this video. Definitely happy birthday again to my mom. Hopefully you're still watching and didn't fall asleep or something. But and if you're still here watching, as and you're not my mom or you're not my sister or any of my blood relatives, and you're still here watching, I really appreciate you as well. Hopefully you've already subscribed to the channel. Hopefully you will click the like button and share this so that some other people that can hear this message as well. And maybe cause them to think about some things or whatever. But other than that, as we do it around here, until next time, peace.